Good evening, one and all present here. Welcome to the Mask Leadership Community, episode 020 Leaders Connect. My name is Prakash Sharma, the founder director of Bija Training, as well as the author of the book, The Mask Leadership. The Mask Leadership Community is built with the specific purpose of creating 1,000+ leaders, wherein week after week we invite key top corporate leaders from the company and they share their solutions on the challenges faced by our community members on the leadership, which could be on leading self, leading others, as well as leading business. So every week after week, we have challenges on our website, themaskleadership.com, through which we filter all the challenges and we share it with our guest. That's where they are here to share the solutions. So with that, we are going to ready to start this particular episode today, wherein focus, and focus is the topic. And we have our guest, Mr. Diwakar. So are we all ready to start and kickstart? If you all are ready, let's see, type in the chat box ready, and we will see how many of us are ready to start to listen to our guest, Mr. Diwakar. So let me see in the chat box, ready? Yeah, that's great. And we are able to see more, and people are joining us, other members as well as the visitors. Great. So with that note, let me give you a quick brief introduction about Mr. Diwakar on the personal front, and the professional. We will definitely have a look at the video as well. But before that, let me share with you all. Currently, we all have muted you, and we all will given an opportunity to interact with our guest, Mr. Diwakar, during a question answer session at the end. However, Diwakar would like to interact with you through the chat box also, and feel free. And Mr. Diwakar, please do let us know in case if you want them to unmute, we will definitely be unmuting them as well. So let me quickly take it up with a quick personal introduction of Mr. Diwakar. Mr. Diwakar is married to Ms. Padmavati, who is a homemaker, and Diwakar has two kids, children. One is Sai Neelakantan and Sai Chandana, studying in 7th and 5th standard respectively. And Mr. Diwakar's hobbies are, in fact, is bibliophile, loves and spends time on reading books completely. And he's learning on how do we weave silk sarees in Kanchipuram now. That's really great. Continuous learning is certain things which we need to really understand from you. And his favorite sport is sailing. So there are much more, in fact, to understand about Diwakar, and he's here to give us solutions on why are we actually getting distracted from our goals. And I'm sure this is a real-time challenging situation for most of the leaders who come here. So just before that, let's understand his professional experience as well through a video, and then we will have the interaction with Mr. Diwakar. So over to the professional experience video. Members as well as the visitors, please do type in the chat box. Welcome, Mr. Diwakar, and Mr. Diwakar Subramanian is here for us to give the solutions on why we are getting distracted from our goals and what could be the purpose. So Diwakar, kindly unmute. I mean, you're already, I believe you're on the video on more. So thanks very much. Welcome, Mr. Diwakar.
Thank you, Prakash. It is a great pleasure to be part of today's Mask Leadership's Leaders Connect, and thank you very much for the wonderful introduction and the video.
It's our pleasure that you're also being here on the platform, sir. It's really great. So let's start, Diwakar, to understand as we have been talking about the topic, which is focus, focus, and focus, especially on we get distracted on the goals. Yes, almost all the members here, if you could see on the community, are all working professionals and business people from different backgrounds. And all the leaders have goals, but the real-time challenges are we are getting distracted from our goals. So maybe understand from you, Mr. Diwakar, is why we are actually getting distracted. That will be really helpful.
Sure. Before that, I would like to share about the challenges which we have with the goal itself.
Sure.
There are two things which we have it. We are an amazing goal setters, but not a goal getters. But both the things are completely different. And we have been trained on how to set goals, but we have not been trained on how to achieve those goals.
Sure.
That is a key difference. We need to have it very clearly that am I doing a goal setter, or am I doing myself to achieve on goals as a goal getter?
Good.
And I would like to give a scientific evidence, because I was having a lot of challenge on myself, because I used to set my goals every December to keep myself fit. I want to achieve these things, but it will automatically get drained by mid-January, February, and then I back to normal. So I was wondering that what is that is happening. Then I was doing some research on how our mind works and how our brain works. And we all have brains amazingly support us for us to achieve. But there are two ways where there is a part in brain which is called as a prefrontal cortex, right? Which helps us to set goals, which is purely logic, which actually gives us that, hey, Diwakar, you should achieve these goals. You have to keep yourself fit. You have to earn more. You have to be a best player in your organization. Everything is actually directed by prefrontal cortex. This part gives me a logic. This part gives me a direction. Everything which has come from this part. But the most important thing, right? This is an intention-based thing. So everyone knows that going to the gym every day is good. That is an intention that is coming from our prefrontal cortex. But actually, what the actions come from the limbic brain, which is over here, which is older than prefrontal cortex. All our emotions, actions, or lies over here in action brain. And if we are not able to communicate the way the action brain or a limbic brain expects, we will not be able to achieve. And the most important thing, the limbic brain is responsible for all our procrastinations and focus. So how I am going to nurture my limbic brain so that it can merge with prefrontal cortex and achieving it. So that is the first awareness we should have, in that am I a goal getter or am I a goal setter? This is the key difference. I have learned it from my experience, Prakash.
Great, great. Wonderfully shared. In fact, are we a goal getter or a goal setter alone? And as rightly told, we all set goals. So the purpose is scientifically, which you're sharing. I understand you're also a neuro-linguistic program, a certified NLP practitioner, which is giving us an understanding to all our members here on this aspect. Let me share. So let me ask you another question which we have. Okay, before that, members as well as the visitors, feel free to turn on your videos, and so that we'll also be able to have much more interaction with you all, and even our guest also feels more comfortable. Definitely you could be on mute, but turn on your videos if possible. That would be really helpful. So as we are moving on, maybe now there are different distractions are there in our day-to-day life. And so we are getting a lot of distractions. Maybe what are the different distractions we are getting? Why am I asking this question is, Mr. Diwakar, there are sometimes leaders are not even aware, am I really getting distracted? The awareness within themselves isn't there. So how do we know, or what are the different distractions in our day-to-day life is there? So if you could just explain that, that will be really helpful as well.
It's a brilliant question. Again, as you mentioned it, I'm going to communicate from my learning from neuro-linguistic programming, and I'm going to talk from a psychological perspective, what is that distraction is coming. and also how to focus on distractions. That is the second part. And the third part is how we consume information to our brain, which is the root cause for our distractions.
True.
And I'm going to share some insights, right? My great grandfather would have consumed very less information because he wouldn't have got a travel. Maximum time he would have spent is per day is with 100 people or 50 people maximum. If he is able to read a newspaper, that's a big achievement. My grandfather has got a radio, and he used to travel in a year maximum of 50 kilometers to 75 kilometers, and used to have for his business transactions. My father has got a television and 5 different newspapers. Myself has got introduced to the computers and got introduced to 2 or 3 channels my school days. Today, my son has got 1,000 channels, and I can't even count how many channels he is going to browse in YouTube and the information consumption he has. And I would like to share some interesting statistics also. It would be really helpful for the members also to get into it.
Yeah, please.
The reason why I want to share this is it's really important that how we consume information every day. Okay. This is a scientific part. We are consuming information 182.5 days in a year, and we can't live without a WhatsApp today, or a Signal, or a Telegram, or a, information. And we are spending on an average 32 hours online in a week. And 1 lakh words a day is what I'm consuming, which is equal to 200 pages in a book. Whether I like it or not, my profession expects me to be in social media 3 to 4 hours per day. And this is how where we remember only 10% of the information, whatever I'm currently getting into. So the point, what I would like to share it to your question here is, the first step is, are we having an awareness about how much information are we consuming? Super. And our brain has been tuned to grab more information. And without our awareness, we are learning that. If I'm idle, earlier I used to read books, or I used to talk with my neighbor or my friends or whatever it may be. Today, my brain is going and tagging myself in WhatsApp, Facebook, or in any kind of social media. So my first awareness when I was thinking about my goals, when I was thinking about my distractions, right? I came to know the root cause of the problem is what kind of an information I am loading it to my subconscious mind. That plays a vital role on my distractions. And the brain is actually forming habits based on your distractions, based on your habits. So you can easily check on your screen time. If I'm having an habit of checking WhatsApp every 5 minutes, my brain is keep on giving me a signal that, hey, 5 minutes up, go and check your WhatsApp. Okay, so you are having a habit of checking your Facebook or LinkedIn every day, your brain will automatically trigger you to go and see your LinkedIn per day or a Facebook per day. Otherwise, there is something called as a fear of missing out, FOMO, which will trigger and pulling us to take it. So my invitation to all the participants and to you also is that, do we have an awareness about what kind of an information we are consuming every day? So that is the number one point which we need to have it. The second point, I'm going to ask this question to the audience, if they can even chat it over here just for. Yes. Do you know how many decisions are we taking every day?
Okay, be certain numbers.
Some number, Prakash. What is that? How many decisions are you taking every day? Average.
Maybe I would say closer to 100.
Okay, 100. Any other number from the audience?
So members, please feel free to share your answers in the chat box as well. How many decisions do you think you take in a day?
10.
10, 15,
more than 2,000, order of lakhs. Okay. Okay. So there is a university in United States. It's called roberts.edu. That university has done a research, and they found that on an average, we are taking 35,000 decisions per day, which means that whether to nod my head, what to wear, how to set, what kind of a response which I am providing it. So we are taking nearly more than 35,000 decisions per day on an average, which we not even know. Number two, we are thinking more than 70,000 thoughts per day, including in our sleep.
True.
This is the number which it provides, that what is that is happening in our thinking has a lot of impact on our distraction and then to focus on. So that is the second part of my response, which I would like to share it over here. So the response to your question is that the distraction is all about on what kind of an information I am consuming.
True.
And am I having an awareness on what kind of decisions I am taking, so that I will be able to be more effective on my goals.
Perfect. So just to add on another question, wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, the information, what we're actually getting, that means that's what you're talking about, the focus. What information we need is what first we need to be aware.
Exactly.
There are informations available in bulk, as you rightly told, right from the grandfather you started and then you took over, and today we're having channels. We are
Yes.
seeing definitely the messages. And if you could see, honestly, in fact, I've seen people, in fact, there is no messages which is popped up, or there is no mobile ringing, but still the screen on and screen off, just a swipe is happening. And that's just a thought process which is actually getting distracted from our goals. And there's actually work-wise, if you could see, there's no work, but we keep swiping and then checking and then come back again. Definitely it happens. And wonderful research points have you shared, which will be very, very helpful for people to understand how it is. So just to add on to on the same, one more question, but how do we really, are there any clues or signals more? Am I really getting distracted? How do I know? I mean, now you've told that different ways, maybe in WhatsApp, maybe through YouTube, but am I really getting distracted? How do I know that? Is there any cues and signals?
Yes, there are. The first signal is, am I aware about how I am thinking?
Okay.
That is the first step which I have learned. What is my pattern on my thinking? And our brain is a pattern machine.
Okay.
If I have an awareness about on my pattern, then it's very easy for me to know about how I get distracted. I will give a small clue on this.
Okay.
There is a science which clearly communicates that if you are spending your first 10 minutes of your time, the first 10 minutes of your day, how you are spending decides how you are going to effectively use that particular day. And today, the first thing, I'm just generalizing it over here.
Yeah.
I had a habit 7 years ago to check my emails as the first thing when I wake up. Or I used to have the habit of checking my emails in the night. What is that is happening? So the way which I have learned is, how do I start my first 10 minutes plays a different role on it. And the first 10 minutes is that I'm designing my goals for the day. It's the first cue. I am setting up myself, what is that I'm going to achieve. And the brain is super duper power. It always communicates to you when you have set that goal. It naturally gives you a clue that, hey, you are getting distracted. Number two, what is my pattern of decision making? In which situations I am making a decision? That awareness we really need to have it. And that's where I got introduced to neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, which helped me to know more about how do I process my subconscious mind rather than on my conscious mind.
Sure.
So the ways which I identified myself is that how many times I'm checking my mobile phone. That is the first clue I have got. Okay, do I have an awareness about on fear of missing out? That is the second clue which I can share it over Third, I started practicing on journal writing.
Great.
Okay, so I have a structure. My calendar has been blocked between 9 and 9:30 every day. Wherever possible, I used to have my self-reflection for the day on what is that I did. That one activity has given me a clue that I did my work or not.
True.
So, see, people are really, really amazing human beings, but we are hijacked with that information.
Yes.
And I will give you one clue which has actually helped me over here. We all undergo roller coaster ride in our corporate life or in our business life. Right? I had a pattern in the past. If something is not going well as per my plan, I used to think a lot about it. And the brain, what happens, it goes with a vicious cycle. Okay, one thought to the other thought, the other thought, the other thought. So whenever I get into an awareness that I'm worrying, I used to communicate to myself very clearly that, hey, this is worrying time. I have set in my calendar, my worrying time is on Sunday at 2 p.m. Let me go and worry at the time. Nothing is going to get changed. It's very tough. I will tell about recently what has happened 2 days ago on one of the things on my corporate. One of the proposals which we are working, which is taking time, people are in holiday, Christmas, New Year, Pongal and all has come, and I have to deliver it. So I was in an worry mode, but I got that cue that I am moving towards on my worrying. I used to give an instruction to myself that, hey, the worrying period is on Sunday at 2 p.m. Let me move on to the first. So that is the first cue. Whenever your mood is on worrying, how I am going to come back quickly to my present. So that is the two which I can share it over here. I'm not going to say that, okay, don't see on your mobile or don't check on your Facebook. It's all about on what is that is internally happening over here.
Rightly told. So that means it's more of, I mean, there's something new which I'm listening. In fact, worrying also, we have certain timelines to do so.
Exactly.
But yeah, very, very, very nicely shared. That means, but is there a challenge for it? I mean, really practically asking, is there a challenge in terms of a specific time when I take, are you able to get worried? Or worrying is, how is that differentiated?
So I will tell you about there is a amazing book called The Mood Elevator. I strongly recommend this. There is a book called Mood Elevator. Okay, imagine that there is an elevator. Okay, and we are having 12 different moods, which is from a grateful to a deep worrying state. Now I'm going to ask you that question, right? What is your current mood now?
Current mood now, I'm enjoying, I'm listening more.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So the point here is you are in a grateful, you are in a happy, elect state, right? Which means that in that elevator, you are at the top level.
Yeah.
So I should have that awareness. I have a small mood elevator table card, which will be there. It will give me a clear awareness that where is my current mood now. Okay? The second part, for example, now my current mood is more about on curiosity. Okay, I've just been invited in a community. What is that? Okay, my brain started identifying that my curiosity. For example, if I'm seeing my tax report. Imagine that. Okay, January has come, the tax report. I'm paying 30% above. Then my mood gets from a curiosity level to a worrying state. So when I'm in a worrying state, right? My brain started identifying that visual cue, how I am going to move up quickly to my curiosity state or in a grateful state.
Great. Super. This
So
is really nice. What you're talking about, the elevator is very nice, and I'm actually learning a lot more on this aspect, Diwakar.
Awesome. So the point what I would like to share it over here is it's not an easy thing. My brain or everyone's brain is not going to change. Okay, if I communicate to myself that okay, go, let us worry about at 2 p.m. Our brain won't get it. But let us keep on communicating that ourselves. That's the power of our subconscious mind. If you keep on communicating that, that habit is getting looped. And for me, it took nearly 2 years to come to that stage. Okay, I'm just bringing an awareness. As I said, right, willpower is the most important thing for us to have a focus.
True. Very relevantly told. Great, Divakar. So now that we have got a gamut of information, and I'm sure, as you told, information what we need to have is very, very necessary. And we need to be more specific and clear about what information we need, and how much we retain is only 10%. So let's also understand how much of information which you have been sharing with our members have they been able to retain. So I'm going to quickly get into a quiz mode with them. So I need Divakar just 2 minutes time from yours. And as I'm going to ask a quick quiz question to all our members as well as the visitors who have come in here for the first time. So are we all ready for the quiz, our members and visitors? If you are ready for the quiz, kindly type in the chat box yes, and I'm going to share you or ask you a quick question. So may I see on the chat box, please? Oh, yeah, great. So there are 2 people who have shared so far. All right, great. So, but before that, I get into the quiz for the week. So I'm sure now you're able to see me on the screen, and on the screen on my background, you're able to see the last week's quiz winner. So the last week's quiz winner is Mr. Devarayan. Yes, he is from Hitachi ABB into the HR in ER, in fact. So congratulations, Mr. Devarayan, for last week taking up the Mask Leadership online 360-degree assessment feedback, which is very, very helpful. And let's see this week who's going to take up the Mask Leadership online 360-degree feedback assessment for complimentary. That's very simple. What you need to do is that for the question which I ask, you need to only answer it correctly, and let's see who is answering correctly and the fastest fingers first, and who is sharing the chat box first gets it complimentary. So the question is very simple. The question is, Mr. Divakar shared a research point saying that how many decisions in a day a human being takes. And let's see on the chat box who is answering it correctly. How many decisions in a day? Wow, that's Yugandhav. Oh, wow, that's Alex Pandian, Yugandhav. Great, great. So let me see. But Sujata Appau has shared that answer correctly and appropriately first. And then we have Alex Pandian and then Yugandhav. Great. So Sujata Appau and Alex Pandian, wonderful. Very, very nice that you are the 2 people whom we are choosing for you to take it up. So let's congratulate both of them, Sujata as well as Mr. Alex Pandian. So Ms. Sujata, as well as Alex Pandian, I would request you to kindly turn on your videos and audio, please. Ms. Sujata as well as Mr. Alex Pandian. So that's great if you're able to turn on your audio. So congratulations. So other members, kindly type in the chat box, congratulations, Ms. Sujata as well as Mr. Alex Pandian, so that you're able to get the Mask Leadership 360-degree feedback assessment for free. What is it is all about is very simple, where you get the leadership assessments from your superiors, subordinates, colleagues, and customers about your leadership competencies, what you're getting it. Wonderful. So Alex, I believe you are online, correct? And Sujata.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Good evening, all.
Good evening, Sujata. How are you, madam?
Yeah, fine, sir. Fine. Thank you.
Great.
Happy New Year to all.
Yes.
Actually, I already won this Mass Leadership Communication. So, can you give it to Mr. Alex?
Yes, thank you very much, Sujata. That's been really great. Yeah, I understand that you've been a part of a member and you feel that Alex Pandian could take over this particular complimentary session for him. Thank you very much, Sujata, for that gratitude which you've been sharing. So Alex Pandian, so you are the winner for this week, that means. So Alex Pandian, you're there. Thanks very much for turning on your camera. So kindly type in on the chat box.
Yes,
Congratulations, Alex. So Alex, you get this. So how do you feel, Alex? And kindly introduce yourself.
yeah, actually, this is Alex Pandian. Actually, I am working Manda Automotive as a quality resource engineer. Actually, I am interested to watching your videos, sir, because I am very excited to ask some input knowledge to your video.
Great, Alex. Nice. Thanks very much for sharing or introducing yourself. Working in Mando Automotive is what you've shared. Great. So we stay tuned with us. Maybe you'll be seeing my mobile number on the chat box. Feel free to share take a note of my mobile number, and we will stay in touch with you to share you our online 360-degree feedback assessment. So since you have answered the question correctly, you get an opportunity, Alex, to ask a question to our guest, Mr. Divakar. So do you have any question, Alex?
Yes, sir. I have another question.
Please.
Yeah, actually, how to what? Mm, hello.
Yes, please, Alex. We are listening. Go ahead. Alex, I believe can go ahead. Okay, I believe he has an internet challenges. Nevertheless, so other members as well as the visitors who are in here for the first time, please feel free to ask any questions. There are two ways you can ask. Either raise your hand, that's an option which has been given, or please do type in the chat box the question and we'll take up the question from you. So Mr. Diwakar, in the meantime, Mr. Rajiv is another member who had two questions. So he wanted a little more information about what is limbic brain, or more examples or about how that limbic brain operates is what he's asking. So was it possible to share?
Yes. So this is our, there are two brains which I said, right? One is on the intention, which is our prefrontal cortex, which talks about on self-evaluation, ambition, reasoning, future plans, rational, wise, everything comes from this prefrontal cortex. The limbic system is all about on emotions, fear, hunger, survival, keeping you alive, flight, fight or flight, emotions, completely driven. The most important thing for us to have a focus is primarily on the limbic system. And it is not an easy thing for us to make our limbic system active. We need to keep on training our limbic system, like going into it. And my simple suggestion is, let us start with a tiny habit. If I really want to go 3 kilometers everyday walk, let me have it with start with 5 minutes a day or a 10 minutes a day. Let me start with 100 meters or 200 meters. Let us bring the discipline to the limbic system, because the limbic system is not having a discipline. That is where I'm setting is goal setter is from prefrontal cortex. Goal getter is from the limbic system. And one of the tips which I can share it to focus on it is that, okay, I want to move myself every day through a walking or a jogging just for 10 minutes. That's it. If I'm able to do that 10 minutes, that's how where it is. And I have learned meditation also. Today I'm able to do a meditation for 45 minutes. Relaxing is I started with the 5 minutes every day. I brought that discipline in myself to take it forward. So that's the most important thing on limbic system, because we learned this limbic system from our Homo sapien nature. That is the reason if we are getting a problem, either we fight or we avoid that problem. So the prefrontal cortex actually helps us to know the problem, and the action brain or a limbic system helps us to achieve this through fight or flight mode. For us to fight, let us start small.
Greatly shared. In fact, I believe Rajiv would have got the answer now. Thanks very much for typing in the chat box as well, Rajiv. That's really great. And wonderfully shared. In fact, Mr. Diwakar, it's very nice to understand the limbic system, and the brain which we are talking about is about the discipline. And this is the brain which is very, very important, which is actually not letting us to have a discipline. We need to train it very nicely. And we need more focus. That's what we have been discussing here. And if we have to train our limbic brain, we need to have more focus. So our next question, in fact, I would like to share. And members, and if you have any questions, please do feel free to type in the chat box. Do raise your hand. In the meantime, I would also go with one more question to Mr. Diwakar. So as we're talking, Mr. Diwakar, talking about the focus here. So what are different ways to focus? So is it able to share more points? Now that you're talking about distractions, how do we avoid distractions? Now, what are the ways for us to focus more? And so that we're able to focus on our goals more deeper. Are there steps so that we can start focusing more clearly on our goals? So if there are, what are they?
Yeah, brilliant point which you have shared with Prakash. If I really want to improve on my focus, I have to have a clarity on top 3 goals which I really want to achieve. And the science says there is a concept called the law of diminishing return. Okay, if I am going to have only 3 goals, and I will be able to achieve 3 goals. If I am having 4 to 10 goals, then my success rate is only 1 to 2 goals achievement. If I am setting up 11 to 20 goals in a year, my success rate is 0.
Oh,
The first point which I would like to share it to all of us is that because we are having a willpower very, very less. So my clear learning in my last 8-9 years as a corporate leader is that I'll be very clear with what is my top 3 goals.
super.
Top 3 goals for the year, top 3 goals for the month, top 3 goals for the week, top 3 goals for the day.
Excellent.
And I will ensure that my willpower has been utilized effectively on those top 3 goals. And when we become senior in the corporate life, our job is to manage on firefighting. Every day is a whirlwind for us. So my top 3 goals has to be fixed in that firefighting. So the first learning I've got it is that I'm having a more clarity on my top 3 goals, whatever may be. That is the first clue which I can share it over here. The second one is I love scoreboards. I love daily scorecard. As I said in the beginning that I'm having a journal writing, I have a simple spreadsheet for myself which I used to have it clearly. This is how I used to have my scorecard.
Okay.
Am I going to my gym sports every day? Did I meditate for 10 minutes? Did I capture my calendar effectively? Did I learn something new? Did I keep my zero inbox? This scorecard which helps me that how I am having my focus. These are all the 10 key points which is most important for me, and I measure myself that how I am managing myself.
Super.
So this is, I learned it from Marshall Goldsmith on his leadership coaching on daily questions, but this has actually changed me, and I'm having my accountability partner to evaluate, which is my spouse.
Great. Wonderful, Divakar. In fact, very nice. The scorecard which has been maintained, and the challenge is we were aware of it. Now we need to start practicing doing it. And
Exactly.
for us to make a practice is where you're talking about the scorecard will help you, and there should be a start. And the start is where the scorecard will really help us. And are we really being more focused? And I'm very happy to listen to you. The top 3 goals from the year, it's more like a funnel method you're bringing in. Top 3 goals in a year, top 3 goals in a month, top 3 goals in a day or a week, and then top 3 goals in a day, which is very relevant. And if I have take more than 3, and it's actually even happening for me. If I have a goal more than 3, I'm actually able to only complete very few, only 2 or 3, maximum 2. That's all. But sticking on to 3 is really going to help. So yeah, I understand. In our community, there are members here. I'm sure members, you all might have been facing. We all are running behind the timelines, and we have goals, we have targets set up, but having too many is not going to really serve the purpose. And this focus, the calendar, what he shared, is really going to really add value to us. Great, Divakar, wonderfully shared. And so members as well as the visitors who for the first time, any other questions? I'm yet to see any questions are there in the chat box, or if there are no questions, then I will also take it forward from my side. So are there any more questions? Please
One person
feel free to
Deva,
also raise your hand and ask.
Ryan, someone has raised.
That's great. So Ryan, yes, we're giving you an opportunity to we've unmuted you, Mr. Ryan, so please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for that, Prakash. Good. Good evening, Divakar. It's, nice hearing you, and a lot of techniques, as Prakash told, we learned. Like we will be having so many goals not to achieve. So, like people used to say like jack of all, master of none. So we we are very good goals setters and not getters. So good. I just wanted to ask you the relationship between the meditation and this focus, right? Like we all talk about meditation is nothing but focusing on certain things. So what sort of meditation will improve the what do you call it as the corporate goals or the organizational goals?
Awesome, sir. It's a good question. So I will respond it in 2 ways quickly. Okay. The first one is how going to the gym helps us to keep our body fit. the meditation is actually helping us to keep our mind fit. Okay. What is happening in the meditation is there are two things which are happening. One is concentration on one thought. The second one is we are clearing the clutter which is going inside in our brain or mind. So meditation, while we are doing in a meditation, right, it is an opportunity for the subconscious mind to release some of the thoughts. That's the reason we are getting dreams every day. What is that is happening is when we are sleeping, the brain actually compartmentalize, okay, this particular thought has to go for a long-term memory, this particular thought has to go for a short-term memory. So it clears actually. The meditation, what is happening is that, as I said, we are consuming n number of content or 1 lakh words per day. What will happen to the brain? Brain is it's something like our Mount Road traffic. It is going on, and what is that is happening? We keep on consuming information. So meditation actually supports us to clear those things. So when I am working with you, my thoughts are completely focused with Prakash and you, and then to respond. So there are various types of meditation available, mindfulness practices available, but I will give you a small tip which you can do it over here is that, are you able to focus completely 10 minutes on one thing? That is the most important. So when you are starting any kind of a proposal work or an official work, without checking your inbox, without checking your WhatsApp, without checking anything, if you are able to fully focus and concentrate on do it, then you are entering yourself in a flow mode. So when I designed myself, I kept my calendar blocked. I put my mobile in an airplane mode. I will shut off my inbox. I will shut off my chat window. I will finish that as a first step. That is one tip which you can do. Regarding the meditation, there are various types of meditation available. All it leads to one place. So you can do any meditation. I'm practicing heartfulness. People are practicing heartfulness, Sadhguru, anything which you can take it for. At the end of the day, all it helps you for thinking on one thing. That is what is that which helped me, Devaraj.
Yeah, true. Thanks a lot. I know, like, I usually I practice, even I need focus to practice meditation too, right? Maybe a lot of distractions are there in the family, personal life, in the official office life and all. So we need to really focus on the meditation too. That itself is a very
Starts.
great.
That is where I had this problem. I started with just 5 minutes. I won't even exceed beyond 5 minutes when I started it. But some days where I will not be able to close my eyes even for 1 minute. But I prepared myself that with the help of my willpower, I extended it for 5 minutes. Yeah. My goal for that month for that meditation is I'm continuously doing a meditation for 5 minutes for 30 days. That's my goal achievement, which is an achievable goal. Which is I'm not taking any stretch. One day 30 minutes, another day 0. The brain is not preparing for that.
True. Very well said. Preparation is very good.
Rightly told, in fact, Devaraj. It's more of preparation. So preparing our brain is actually very, very necessary.
Thanks for that.
Thank you, Mr. Devarayan. So, Mr. Divakar, we also have another question from Mr. Fanindra. He's asking in the chat box saying that how do we connect the yearly goal to a monthly goal and to a daily goal? I mean, okay, that's okay. Yeah, go ahead, Divakar.
It's a very good question. It's not an easy thing. But the point here is, let me put it in this way. I'll take my basic example. I have a health goal, which I want to reduce my weight from 80 to 70 by December. This is my goal, has been very clear. Okay. The way which I work on it is, I create something called as a lead measure and a lag measure in my scoreboard. The lag measure is my monthly goal, which what is that as progress? From 80 kg, did I reduce it to 79, 78, which is my result of my goal for that particular month. Then the lead measure is, right, how many calories I'm taking every day. Did I go to the gym? These are all my lead measure. Okay, my weight is a lag measure. My lead is my monthly goal. So the way which I design myself is that going to the gym for 30 minutes is my monthly goal, which will yield me the result for that lag measure. What is that weight? I'm going to get it in the month of January, February, March. So the point what I would like to share it over here is you can split your yearly goal into a monthly goal based on your lead measures. For example, if you are having a sales goal, so the point here is how many leads you are going to generate for that month is most important than what is that the result which you are going to get in. That is a lag measure. So the point what I would like to share it over here is the lead measure is the key for you to set from a yearly goal into a monthly goal. And it is a big exercise for us to split it. It has a lot of initiatives which we have to bring it, sub goals which you have to bring it to take it forward. And your daily goal also is to get it based on that. For example, if my hitting 30 days gym is my monthly goal, then my daily goal is to spend 30 minutes in a gym is my daily goal. So that's how the classification, as Prakash said, it's something like in a funnel. And I need to have my focus on my present in including my daily pressures which I get into it. My COVID pressure will come, traffic jam will be there. In spite of it, how we are able to achieve that goal is the key. It's a goal setting and goal getting is a different exercise. We are confused sometimes with the goal setting and the goal getting.
Great. That's an excellent answer which has been shared. I believe, Mr. Phanindra, you've got the answer of what Mr. Divakar has been sharing. Very nicely shared, Divakar, which is a lead measure and a lag measure. And we are able to understand where do we actually need to improve on. And the focus, what needs to be done on the lead measure is very necessary, is what you're highlighting, which is really great. So great, Phanindra. Thank you very much for asking that question. And this, your respective questions also helped other members as well. So Willabir, also time is giving us the more focus also. So I'm actually getting into more a quick summary. And I understand that our members, we all will have more questions. This will be keep continuing. But as I told, learning is a never-ending process, and this keeps on continuing. So let me share a quick summary of what all we have discussed for this week, and also connect all the dots, and let's introduce you to the next week leader as well. So for doing that is where I'm going to share you on my background screen. You're able to see here, members. On my background screen is the mass leaderships model, which has been shared. And let me explain you a quick in a glimpse, and I'll summarize with all the points of what Divakar has also told. So one is we have the PH. These are 5 basic elements of leadership. One is the PH, it's called the productive habits. And we have the UH, which is called the unproductive habits in a human being and as a leader. And we also need skills as a leader. And there are positive feelings, which is PS, and there are negative feelings, which is NF. So these are 5 basic elements as a leader. And today's discussion of topic, what we've been discussing, is more about how do we get, we are getting distracted from goals. Distraction is nothing but an unproductive habit, the UH. And if we have to really stop getting distracted, we need to have or analyze our own self and start practicing a skill. That's when we're talking about the goals and how do we move more focused on the goals. And goal setting and decision making is what, in fact, Mr. Divakar shared with us today. And if we really have to be more clearer on our goals and have to be taking more appropriate decision, we should have a productive habit, which is here. That's what we're talking about, the focus. And if you have to just narrate all the points or summarize all the points, in fact, we started off with asking a question. And the question was, why do we actually get distracted? And Mr. Divakar has explained excellently about how our brain functions, brain works, and what's the aspect of limbic brain. And he also highlighted that that's the mode which we brings into a discipline. We need to bring out more discipline first, and that's when we'll be able to focus more. From there, he moved on, giving more information. We should be first aware, what information do I really need? Information is across the globe. We all are having today in the mode of internet, through our Facebook, through our YouTube, through our WhatsApp messages. But what's my focus? What's the message do I need? In other words, if you could just see real time, we are in many groups in WhatsApp, but just being in a group in a WhatsApp is just not going to give us more clarity. Am I really making sense in being in a particular group should really give us the clarity, and that's what he was highlighting. And he gave us an excellent point, saying that only 10% of the information what we are really listening in a day is what we are able to remember. So let's have more focus. and moved from there to a decision making in a day where we are actually almost closely taking more than 35,000 plus decisions. And in that, every moment, that means we are taking a decision. That means, in other words, every dialogue is actually becoming a decision for us. And from there, we all moved. And one very nice point I really like, Diwakar, what he told is we are actually getting more hijacked from the information what is there outside, and we are blindly getting hijacked. So it is we need to understand that we should not get hijacked by the information. We need to be very clear, what information do I need for me to set up my goal. And for that, you gave an excellent clarity, identify top 3 goals for a year, for a month, for a week, and for a day. And how do we do that? And came up, in fact, to the differentiation of what's between focusing on lead measure as well as the lag measure. And if you all see all this, these are the points which has been narrated or shared, or the solutions given by Mr. Diwakar to us, and help our members here to grow constantly in their leadership. Thanks very much, Mr. Diwakar, for sharing it here. And let me also share for the visitors who are here for the first time, as well as for the members here. Let me give a quick brief. On our website, themaskleadership.com, please go visit. Please do type in your challenging situations or challenges about leading self or leading others or leading business. I'm sure every human being undergoes challenging situations, and we all do have. And if we have a challenge, please do type them on the maskleadership.com website. We are the people who are actually going to finalize on the key challenges situations. We channelize them and we share it with the key top corporate leaders who come to our community week after week, so that they are giving solutions for your real-time challenging situations on leadership. So let's keep doing that. I'm sure we will be able to help create more leaders. And that's where we're talking in a nutshell, leaders create more leaders. And let's keep doing that. I'm sure we'll be able to help us. So I would like to now take you through next week's guest who's going to come to help us. And there were certain challenges being shared on our website, in fact. And the challenges was on persistence and how long do I actually need to be having more on patience is what certain questions been come out, and for which we have identified an excellent leader. The leader who's going to come for us the next week is, you're able to see on my screen behind, is Mr. Vallampati Prasad, who is the president of Shriram Chips Private Limited, who hails from Hyderabad. And he is the person who's going to give us more deeper insights about how persistence prevails perfection. One point I would like to share, that no human being is 100% perfect, but if we have to move towards perfection, one of the productive habit could be persistence. And how do we really, and how long do we need to be persistent, are some of the insights which Mr. Vallampati Prasad, the president of Shriram Chips Private Limited, is going to be sharing to us. So stay tuned. On the chat box, you'll be able to see the link. Feel free to quickly register now itself, as well becomes easier, so that you get reminders on the same. And all this is where I would like to ask one last question to Mr. Diwakar. So Diwakar, it's been an excellent 45 minutes session, almost going to be an hour now. A lot of insights you have given us, very great. And one last question, what is the specific message we all are, as I told, all working professionals are there from manufacturing, IT, banking, as well as certain business people are here in the community here. So what is the message you would like to give to the members and visitors who are present here today? So that is the last question for the day.
The key message which I would like to share it is, how can I start saying no to myself as well as for others? The art of saying no is most important. There is an amazing book called How to Say No. So I strongly recommend that, because today's world, we are a little bit shy to say no to ourselves as well as others. If my mind goes to check my mobile, how can I say no? If my wife asks for something, how can I say no? If my boss asks something, how can I say no? Because my focus is only on my top 3 goals. So art of saying no is the key message which I would like to share in Prakash to the members. If we are able to learn art of saying no, we will be able to achieve all our goals successfully.
Thanks very much, Diwakar. It's excellently shared the art of saying no. I believe in the upcoming episodes also we're going to bring it in here for our members, in fact, and with another corporate leader where definitely our members are going to really learn on it so that they go back to apply it, and that will be really helpful for them in creating and growing in the respective leadership careers. Great, Divakar. And thank you very much for spending the time with our members here on the community. It's an online leadership community with us. And feel free for the visitors who are here for the first time. Please feel free. My number is also in the chat box. You can join our group. As Mr. Divakar told, if you really have the focus for a constant growth on continuous learning on your respective leadership, then is where you can feel free to join our group, wherein every week after week, we are going to discuss on the real-time challenging situations on leadership. And if you so, please do join our group where you'll be able to see and understand more and more clarity about how constantly we all are growing. Great. So Divakar, it's already high time, and we will thank you very much once again. It's been extended help which you have come here to excel